Hello, it's Spence, the evil genius, from Widget Laboratory with your Lab Secrets new product release. Tonight, we're proud to announce the release of our latest Lab Secrets demo site. Yes, that's correct. We've had so many customers coming to us who want to start using the product, but they just have some questions about what features are available, what it'll look like, what it looks like on the admin side of the dashboard. So rather than relying only on our tutorial videos, we decided to set up a series of demo sites that give you all of the features and functions with a variety of layouts and options already set up for you. Now there's two types of demo sites, and I'm going to show you the first type here. We have a generic demo that's set up with our lab theme. That's the theme that you start with whenever you're working with the LabSecrets Solution site. Now, it's also got a majority of the important features set up in a demonstration that I will go through here in a second. Now, if in fact you do have a more custom need, however, we can set you up with a unique demo site, but that'll just require you to go ahead and request the same. So remember, two types of sites available. One is the generic demo, and by the way, for those who are curious, the generic demo will reset every 60 minutes, so you can play with it for only a certain amount of time. The personalized demo, if you want one of those set up and you request it via email at support@labsecrets.com, will be available for 48 hours, or if you want a little more, we can arrange that. But basically, it's just to get you hands-on into the site. Not really as a model of what you can do, but rather just sort of a potpourri of different features, a sampler plate, if you will. All right, we've got, of course, our admin login here. So I'm logged into the site. If I was logged out of the site, I would have a slightly different menu, which would include the fact that the navigation would not be fully displayed. Because remember, with the LabSecrets Solution, you can have any kind of navigation showing to logged in or logged out users. You can also control who sees it based upon their membership status. We also have over here our sliding panel, which is a nice place to put in some additional features. In our case, we're using it as a community tab so that we can focus any energy for the social network on our site over on that tab. I have also got installed the comment chat at the bottom, the toolbar, which has a number of really neat features, but basically it gives you a custom chat and video chat option. Now, in addition to this, we've got the navigation set up here where I'm going to go through a couple of the items. First of all, a sample page demonstrating just a plain old page with, of course, commenting, etc. We've got an example of an installed arcade here. We've decided to go ahead using the Haze app arcade, which has over 40,000 games available. And when you install it on your site, you get not only the availability of single-player games, but multiplayer games. You could set up the game room in a custom way or use a generic game room, and you also have access to all of the stats and other information you need to know who's doing what. It's a great way to keep people on your site, and again, it's free as part of your LabSecrets solution. Next, we've got a blog form. Now, many of you have asked, what's the difference between a multi-site setup and a standard LabSecrets solution setup? Well, the main difference is that with a standard LabSecrets solution, you have one general blog. And the nice thing is that you can have no additional blog contributors or as many as you wish. But when somebody is elevated from an ordinary subscriber to either a contributor or an author or an editor of your blog, it means that they will have to use the back end of your site. And for many non-technical people, that's just a little too complicated. So here's an example of how you can have a front end or a member side form that's super easy. In this case, all that somebody has to do to submit to your blog is just go to this page and enter in a little basic information. So here, for example, is my blog contribution and yada, yada, yada. And then if I want, because they've been given the option, I can even upload an image here to also be considered for a contribution to the post. I hit submit, and remember, I'm doing this as a member, so it was really that simple. But now the admin, who is on the other side of the site over here, can go over to the blog posts management tab under posts, and they will see, look at that. We've got a new draft that was contributed by the member just a little while ago. And when you look at this, we can see, for example, whether or not we like this, we want to change it, we want to edit it. And once we decide it's suitable for actual publication, we can click Publish. Now remember, I'm controlling this because I'm the admin of the site. I also have the ability to assign that role to either another person or persons. When I go back to the front of the site, now when I look at the site-wide blog, I can see What do you know? I've got that contribution. Now, that's the whole workflow. How easy is that? You, as the admin, get the ability for people on your site to contribute, but you don't get all those people submitting stuff that isn't very well spelled or edited or has bad grammar. And you could still give credit to whomever it is that actually contributed it. Next option, we've got, of course, our community tab. And one of the things I want to show you here, we've added as an additional feature, is this internal tab mechanism. So by way of either using the widget placement on the left slider, or, and actually in addition to, you can have this nice little tab menu system, which was done with a simple widget drag and drop, and it gives you the ability to kind of have all of your community features from one menu item. It doesn't mean you can't still use the drop down or the sidebar, but it's a nice alternative because this is a way to maybe have one simple link and all of the community stuff inside. That we can go ahead and limit the placement of various features in the site by way of using the widget area. So if I was going to go back over to my admin dashboard, I want to go over here to our appearance menu and open it up. And when I do, I'm going to go to widgets. So appearance widgets is actually where all of this drag and drop magic happens. I want to show you that over here, I took the content top area and I added a custom menu. And what that does is it allows me to basically select a specific menu called community, which I built, and it only has these tabs in it: activity, groups, forums, members, photos, etc. In other words, it only has the links that are relevant to my social network in it. And I said only show it on these pages, which are the actual pages themselves. So in effect, by doing this custom menu and putting into the content top area, which is this area right here, I was able to go ahead and say on the community page or any of the community pages, show this little custom menu. We've gone ahead and demonstrated in here an FAQ section. We've got a great plugin that's installed that allows you to build dynamic FAQs. Well, what's dynamic mean? Well, watch. You go ahead and add different categories, but when you add the particular ones, watch what happens. I roll over and I can click, and wow, check it out. It's got that great drop down effect, which means that I can have a list of items, and just like the high-end sites, when I click on it, it will expand and then contract back again. So I can put in a very large amount of content with an FAQ section on my site, have it look and feel absolutely fantastic. And even embed videos like you can see here, where we've got our tutorial section, and it's just a straight up embed. Okay. Keep going. Over here, we've included a demonstration of the Invoices plugin. Now, this is really awesome because this allows you as a site owner not only to go ahead and collect membership and subscription to your site, but you can actually manage clients here. What do I mean? Well, instead of using a third-party invoicing system, if you happen to actually be billing clients or have any kind of customer relationship, you can use your internal social network as a way to go ahead and manage those relationships. Here I've got a sample invoice set up that shows that I had built a widget laboratory for services rendered. When I click on it, it shows what that invoice is. But here's the catch. This isn't showing it to me. This is showing it to Widget Laboratory, the customer. So this is an example of what your customer will see when they log in. They'll only see specific invoices that you have made out to them. In other words, it's a private way for you to deliver the invoices and then also give them a way to pay instantly with PayPal. So a great little feature. It could be very powerful for many of our customers who use their site not only for social purposes or for marketing their goods, but as a way to actually collect on their goods and services. All right, let's show you another thing. I've put in an example of the slider. Now, the slider is a feature that allows this kind of nice action to happen, but it also allows you to have an image slider. So when I click on this page, a couple things are going to happen. First of all, you'll notice we got rid instantly of the standard header, which is the cool part because you don't have to be limited to any layout on this site. With drag and drop simplicity, as I'll show you, you can go ahead and move the modules around. In this case, what I did is I told the default LabTools header not to display on this page. And I then told the slider, or what we call the easing slider, that I did want it to display on this page. I also went ahead and uploaded a about 5 or 6 slides, different colors, and I told it I wanted a nice shadow effect, and I also added on one of the slides an actual clickable link. So as you'll see in a second, in addition to just visual stuff, you can display blog content, page content, specific information, and even, as you see here, clickable links. So when I click here, it takes me over to the link I put in, which is for, of course, Lab Secrets. Okay, let's go back and show you what that looks on the back end. It's over here in the easing slider plugin. And what I've basically done is I set it up so that I told it the size and the width that I wanted the slides to be. So let's run through the menu real quick. I told it I wanted to use custom images. I then set the slider up to be 940 pixels by 198 wide. I told it that I did not want it to use any of the little extra buttons or images that you can put on it to let you tab through from one to the other. I told it I wanted to just go ahead and transition on its own, and I used a nice transition animation style. And lastly, I got rid of the border and some other styling stuff. And then what I did is, instead of using content from the blog, I just uploaded my own custom images. So I have the pink and the blue and the green and the orange and the yellow, and I have the one right here which says click on it, where I also included the link to labsecrets.com. I saved it all, and then I went over to, yes, it's true, my appearance menu, where I think you're going to guess it. I'm going to click on, of course, the widgets tab, so that I was able to go ahead and say where I wanted it to appear. And this all happens in the header area. So you can see here I have a widget called PHP widget. And in that is a snip of code which we provide for you that says if the widget for easing slider is there, go ahead and display it. But if it's not, ignore it. You don't have to worry about the code part. You just have to know to use this PHP widget. Then I also said on that particular page, the page called slider, we want to go ahead and not show the regular main menu. So here, every page except the listed display the normal header. And here's the ones where I didn't want it listed: slider and then anything after slider. And again, we'll cover how this page limiter works in other tutorials, but it allows you to show or display widgets, or actually prevent the display of widgets based upon whatever URL you put in here. Okay. Let's keep going on our little tutorial display here. I've got some sample layouts that I showed. Now, the reason we did this is to show you a couple things. First of all, when I click on the main sample layouts, I've got a little display here with some tutorial videos to show you that you can put any kind of normal content in. Now, in this case, we have a 1-column sample where we have gone ahead and put in a little placeholder to show you exactly what that space looks like. Next, I've also shown you here a 2-column layout where we've activated the right-hand sidebar simply by dragging a widget into it. Show you how that works again. Again, we've covered this in another tutorial, but basically all you need to do is to drag a widget into the right sidebar container. Here we've put a placeholder to do that, and that will trigger the activation of the right-hand column, changing it from a 1-column to a 2-column. And then lastly, we've got the other columns shown here. So for example, a 3-column layout, and what I call the full Monty, which is an example of how we do it with all of our zones active. So we've got the header site title and tagline. We've got the top content area, main content area, left and right sidebar, and bottom content. And lastly, of course, we've got the foot doctor. And again, I'm kind of overlapping what we've covered in other tutorials. And here's the last one, menu on top. Now, what if I want to move these modules around? What if I want the navigation above the header image? No problem. All I do is go to this example, as you can see, and almost in the same way I did that easing slider example, I went ahead and changed it. So we went and took the navigation and put it above the top image of the header, and we also got rid of the site title and tagline. Now, I don't want this tutorial to go too long, so this was intended as a little bit of a preview of what you can get when you use one of our demo sites, because you'll be able to access, as the admin, both sides of the site, see all these things in action, and really get your hands wet with how easy it is to go ahead and use the LabSecrets solution to build yourself a really, really, really powerful site in almost no time at all, especially with our Entrepreneur Plan, where we'll deliver this to you in ready-to-go format with the layout to your specification. Okay, running short on time. This is Spence, the evil genius from Witch of the Laboratory.